Hey everybody! So I have been teaching a lot of concealed carry classes here lately, and so I haven't had as much time to post as many videos as I'd like. But one thing that keeps coming up, and I keep hearing from people I meet that find out I'm an instructor and things of that nature, that I wanted to bring up in a video. These three things seem to come up a lot, and my opinion on them is asked, and that's whether to carry with one in the chamber, why would you need a second magazine, and then not so much comes up, but I hear people talk about not shooting their firearm for like a year, not even having it cleaned. So I wanted to go over these three items because they seem to be the things that I see people, I don't want to say mistake because you should only do what you're comfortable with, but let's start with carrying one in the chamber. So we understand that racking the gun takes a second. And yes, sometimes you don't have seconds. But what I tend to put into people's head or ask them about is, what if you're in a close contact kind of situation? Or in my case, what if I have one of my children with me, or somehow one of my hands has become incapacitated? How am I going to lift up this firearm and rack it? And yes, I understand some people can rack off their leg or, rack off the car seat and things like that. But in very stressful, high adrenaline situations, fine motor skills go out the window. And how many times are you going to have to hit it against your leg to get it to rack? So I never suggest anybody do anything they're not comfortable with. So if you're not comfortable with carrying one in the chamber, then by all means, I'm not going to say, do it or else, you're going to die. That's not the kind of trainer I am. I am one that says, all right, why are you uncomfortable with it? And let's work through that. So I would just like you to think, if you are uncomfortable with carrying one in the chamber, why are you uncomfortable with it? And then see if you can figure out how to get comfortable with it. Because if you can carry with one in the chamber, you have a better chance of having a better outcome in a self-defense situation if the need ever arises to pull your firearm. Two is, I get a lot of people see that I carry an extra magazine on me, and I love especially the guys that carry the larger compacts or the full-size guns that have 16 or 17 in a magazine, and I get that, well, if I need more than 16 rounds, then it just ain't going well for me. I don't carry an extra magazine because I think I might need more rounds. I carry an extra magazine because a lot of malfunctions come from defective magazines or springs in a magazine. Your double feeds, misfeeds, things like that. And a lot of times, especially to clear a double feed, you have to lock that slide back and strip that magazine out. So even if you want to clear it and put that same magazine back in, usually the next round has already halfway ejected. So you're gonna have to take it, push it back in, and go. And then you don't know if the magazine was the actual cause of that malfunction. So I suggest carrying with an extra magazine, so that way, as you strip that one out, you can let it go, grab a new magazine, and put it in, and get back in the fight. So, no, I hope I don't need more than 16 rounds in a self-defense situation, but for all I know, second one goes, and I don't even get 2 rounds off with that magazine. So, my extra magazine is not for extra ammo, although it is there if I need it, is to help clear malfunctions. And then the third thing that really, I shouldn't say it scares me, but it makes me scared for people that are carrying, that they don't stay proficient with their firearm. I mean, okay, so we can say it's kind of like riding a bike where, you can get back proficient pretty quick, but do you want to push that to the point where you need it? Like when you are in that self-defense situation, that's when you get back on the bicycle? I'm not telling people they need to go out and shoot 100 rounds a weekend by any means, but you should stay somewhat proficient. And if there's training in your area, maybe once a year or every 6 months or so, take some kind of tactical or advanced kind of training with your firearm to improve, dry firing skills, drawing from concealment skills, things of that nature. And, I mentioned dry firing. Even if you don't want to go to the range, especially with the way ammo is now, dry firing, coming up and finding your sights, over and over again. It's boring, but that first shot on target could be the difference. So again, carrying with one in the chamber, I would suggest you do it, especially if not even for timing, but for what if you're pushing your kid out of the way, you know, anything. What if you have to get down on the ground and you only have one hand? Think about that. How are you going to rack it? 2, carry your extra magazine. I mean, most concealed carry weapons, a very small magazine. They have little tiny pouches you can get on Amazon for $9, and just have it with you. It could save your life, you know, if you have a malfunction with your magazine, especially for those people that do not oil or practice with their firearms on a at least semi-regular basis. You know, that thing's been loaded and in that firearm now for a year without being fired. How do you know if it's even going to work when you need it? So with all these classes, those seems to be the 3 things that keep coming up over and over and over and over. And I find myself preaching it face to face with people all day long, every weekend, some weeknights. And I figured I'd get on here, try to get it out to you guys in the world. And just like I said, I wouldn't suggest you do anything you're not comfortable with, but I would suggest finding out why you're not comfortable with it, give it an honest thought, and figure out if you can get comfortable. If you like what we're doing here, or at least don't hate it, maybe give us a thumbs up, click the subscribe button. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll talk to you later.